is a chilling number, a grim milestone. 2025 is now the deadliest year for ICE custody deaths in more than 2 decades of the authorities acting in America. Watching a record that last was seen in 2004, 32 lives have been lost, men, women from around the world. Some new arrivals seeking refuge, others who had lived in America for decades. All died while being in federal immigration custody. This as enforcement surged, detention centers filled, and oversight came under intense scrutiny. We break down what exactly happened, when it escalated, and why 2025, when Donald Trump is in office, has stood apart. First up, let's get you some of those numbers that really best tell you how things stack up in 2025 as against the years before that. 32 deaths in custody, not a small number. These are not numbers. These are not statistics. These are people. These are families being broken because of somebody deciding to act in haste. Deadliest since 2004. 22 years it's operated. What happened this year? The only thing many people are able to put together is this was a year when Donald Trump administration came to power, and this is part of their core governance agenda. 68,440 people have been detained mid-December, till mid-December. Of which, now this is very important, of which 75% did not have a criminal conviction, which means 3 out of the 4 people that I just mentioned did not have a criminal conviction. On what basis were they chosen? On what grounds were they identified? What is the criteria that is undertaken and followed by these authorities? Those are the questions, because unless they are not driven by data, then there's discretion, and whenever there is discretion, there is scope for error. And that's exactly what happened in the case of Renee Good as well. Now, as you see, in 2025 alone, ICE held nearly 75,000 people at once. 3/4 with no criminal convictions. Mind you, deaths came from heart failure, seizures, strokes, tuberculosis, and some also committed suicide. December became the deadliest month. Advocates warn overcrowding, delayed care. They are turning detention centers into danger zones. ICE insists that death rates remain low. Critics say that these numbers don't tell the human stories. Let's now trace the history of ICE, the flashpoints that shaped it, and how this year, the one that just went by, 2025, became a year that will be remembered for all the wrong reasons. Take a look.
You're criminal! You're criminal!
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe!
It began as enforcement, it has now transformed into a reckoning. Immigration and Customs Enforcement was created in 2003. It was born out of the post-9/11 security overhaul designed to protect borders, enforce immigration law, and remove threats. But from the start, enforcement collided with controversy, and deportations were the first massive flashpoint.
You shot someone! You shot someone!
During the Obama years, ICE carried out record removals, peaking at more than 400,000 deportations a year. This earned the administration the label deporter-in-chief. Then came the second flashpoint, family deportations. In 2018, under President Trump's first term, ICE enforced the zero-tolerance policy. It separated thousands of children from parents at the border. These images of children in detention ignited global outrage. The biggest flashpoint and the most contentious, detention centers. For years together, advocates have warned of overcrowding, poor medical care, and deaths in custody. Talk about hunger strikes or lawsuits. ICE facilities have become flashpoints, with critics arguing detention has well outpaced oversight. Then came 2025. As enforcement ramped up, detention numbers rose. Facilities filled faster than systems could respond. 32 people died in ICE custody, highest in 20 years. Some were asylum seekers, some long-time residents, some died of heart failure, seizures, strokes, others just by suicide. Families say cries for help went unanswered. ICE disputes these claims, says care was provided and death rates remain low. But December alone saw 6 deaths, the deadliest month of the year. Clearly now, it's more about responsibility than just safeguarding borders. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
Irina Sukuman joins me on the broadcast. She's a human rights and national security attorney. Irina, thanks much for speaking to me on Fault Lines. Let me start by asking you, a 38-year-old woman, mother of 3, shot at on point-blank distance, even though some conflicting reports may be coming in about the sequence of events, the question is, how is now the family of Renee Good going to get justice, and who will give her justice?
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, this is not the first time someone died in police custody or as a result of federal enforcement action. Actually, the next day after this incident, federal agents apparently lethally shot 2 individuals in Portland. Lawsuits are not uncommon in such situations. Essentially, the families of the deceased or in some cases survivors of police violence sue the local authorities, or in this case it's going to be the federal government. Whether or not these lawsuits will be successful depends on the fact-finding.
Irina, now is this the new template as far as the Trump administration is concerned? They're going to go after whoever they think is not or whoever they think is radical enough, aligned to the left, even though no proof is given? Is this the new template?
It seems to me that what the Trump administration said and what it's doing are 2 different things, because their explicit comments were that they would only be, that in the phase 1, the first year or so of ICE enforcement, they would be targeting only people with criminal records, or at least violent criminal records and other criminal records. Also, they claimed that they would only be targeting people involved in illegal activity during the protest. But it seems to me that hiring ICE agents who are not properly trained may be a factor more than any broad policy decision. It may be that you have people who are volunteers, who do not have a law enforcement background, who are not trained in the use of non-lethal force during detentions, and who then overreact to incidents that would otherwise be handled differently.
You know, which brings me to ask that there is videographic proof. There are now also eyewitness accounts, all of which seem to suggest that the ICE, authorities who came in, they acted in haste, and some say they actually targeted Renee Good. The point is, how does now ICE operate going forward? And if this is how it's going to operate, what should those who are going to be at the receiving end of this do about it? Can they take legal recourse? What is it that they can do?
Of course, individuals who are not involved in any sort of violence against the law enforcement can pursue legal action. But of course, the problem is legal action may take years. It's also expensive to do, even as class action lawsuits against the federal authorities. And by the time they get around to settling on any sum of money, the Trump administration may likely be gone from office, and so it's going to be on taxpayers rather than anyone from the administration to serve out any financial relief in terms of any sort of criminal justice to specific individuals. That's going to be a difficult line to pursue, because DOJ obviously has no interest in highlighting any sort of abuses or negligence.
Irina, very quickly, finally, I'm asking you this, that this is a year when midterm elections will take place later in the year. For Donald Trump's core voter base, the MAGA base, the crackdowns on illegal immigrants is very important. And one expects ICE to probably build up on this going forward. Do you think so?
I think that will be the way that the Trump administration will try to cater to its base. But quite frankly, I don't think that's going to serve them well in the midterm elections. I think even some in the MAGA camps are concerned about the way this is being handled. It's also having the crackdowns are also having economic consequences because people who are not violators of laws are being pursued. Green card holders, people who have committed no crimes or infractions, are being targeted for deportation, and it's costing jobs. It's causing economic problems that are compounding ongoing tariff related issues, and I think want to hit
All right.
Trump supporters.
All right, Arina, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks much for joining me on that story.